What is up, Mother Duckers? It's Justine, your host of Mentally a Badass, and today we're going to be doing a requested episode series. You guys want to hear a trauma dump story, and I have multiple, so this is going to be a very long series. So I'm trying to think, which one am I going to bring up today? And today, I think I'm going to bring up this crazy vacation that I had in, let's say, probably 2014 or 2015, around there. Me, my ex, and an old friend of mine, well, actually, not old, we're still friends. We went to Miami and pretty much vacation with some crazy people, and it got wild. So I would say this was a traumatizing experience, and you will see why once we get like towards the end of the episode. So if you guys want to hear the chaos that I went through in Miami, keep on listening. Okay, so I was 19 years old, and of course, for privacy purposes, I will not be mentioning any actual names of these people. I did actually speak about this episode on my YouTube channel. If you were an OG Life with Justine watcher back in the day, you probably already heard the story, but most likely you're not, since you're mentally a badass follower. Okay, so let's talk about this. All right, like I said, 2014, 2015, most likely 2014. I was 19 years old, ready to go on a week vacation to Miami with my ex and my friend. And the two people that we vacationed with were friends of my ex. And so I did all of the pre-planning, pretty much I did everything, and people just sent me money. But anyway, before we actually went on this trip, I wanted to meet my ex-boyfriend's friends, just to kind of get like, a feel from them, a vibe from them, and just like, plan out our trip to Miami. So we went to, just an Applebee's, and everything seemed chill. Like everyone seemed super nice, and we were just super excited for our trip to Miami. And so yeah, so that was the first time meeting. Everything was good, awesome. Then we actually went to go to Miami. Everything was still chill. We were on the plane, but then as soon as the plane landed in Miami, their horns went up. If you know what I mean, like their horns went up. It was like the weirdest thing. Like they liked us, everything was chill, but then like as soon as we landed, it just went into shit. And it gets worse and worse. So I'm gonna tell you everything that went up to the finale. We landed. First things first, we had to get the rental car. So we basically booked a full package, hotel, plane, and rental and such, just to make sure we get a great deal. So we went to get a rental, and we had to choose which car we wanted. So there's 5 of us, right? There's 5 of us, so 5 different sets of luggages, keep that in mind. And as we were choosing the car, I'm gonna give these names Jimmy and Mary. Let's do that. I'm gonna give them names, Jimmy and Mary. So Jimmy and Mary were like, Jimmy wanted like this really nice sports car. And okay, I get it. You're in Miami. You want to live the life. You want a sports car, whatever. But me being realistic, I was saying we're 5 people and we have a lot of luggage. We're not going to be able to fit all this going to the apartment that we, hotel that we booked. And so they were a little pissed off at me because I like stood up and said something like, this is not reality. Like, I totally get that you want to have the whole like looking cool with the sports car, but this is not, doable. So they're like, okay, whatever. So then we picked a different car, which was still a nice car. And as we were, I couldn't rent a car, and neither could my friend because we were at the time under the age of 23. And so if you do it when you're younger, you get like an extra fee. So first we're going to put it under Jimmy's name, but we actually couldn't because he didn't have a card to put like, I guess, the deposit on or just to hold it for accidentals. He didn't have a card, which was kind of weird. So, and he didn't have any cash in him or anything like that. So we thought that was a little odd, but apparently he doesn't have a bank account because Mary doesn't trust him with money. So we couldn't put under his name, which I think pissed him off. But I mean, what are you going to do? If you don't have a bank account, yeah. So we decided to put it under my ex-boyfriend's account, and which he didn't want originally. but we had to do it. He was the only one that was 23 and above. And so we put it under his name. And then we drove back, and then we got to, the hotel. The hotel was very nice. I booked us a 2-bedroom. One room had 2 beds and one had a king bed, and we had 5 people. And then it was time to decide who's going to have what room. And as I mentioned before, I did plan everything. Like, I literally did absolutely all the work. I volunteered to do all the work. All they had to do was just send me money. So if you know how it is to plan a vacation, it can be stressful. So the fact is, think about it in mind, if someone did everything for you and all you have to do is send money, that's pretty awesome, right? So when we went there, I said I wanted the bedroom that had the king bed. And the couple says to us, well, we should have the one with the king bed because we live together and you and your ex don't live together. And I thought that was not a reasonable excuse. And it was kind of a little frustrating because I literally did all the work and then they feel like they have the authority to be the one to be the first pick, which made no sense. And also my other friend, who is single, and he was pretty much fifth wheeling this whole trip. He had no problem taking the couch. So there was 2 queen beds in one room and he could have had the other bed, but we respected the couple to have their privacy. So we kept that in mind. And he just slept on the couch. Even though he paid the exact same amount of money. He did it just so they can get their privacy. So we all thought of that, but they were pissed at us because they couldn't get the room with the king bed. Which made no sense because the other room was technically bigger and they had their bathroom inside of their room. But they just wanted the king bed. And so that was a little like, okay, that was the second thing. And then from there, we went to the grocery store to pick up, some snacks just to have in the apartment. And they were doing like a whole grocery shopping. When I say a whole grocery shopping, they were doing it like literally overfilling the basket. And I thought it was kind of odd because, when you're on vacation, you typically go out and go out to dinner. We were thinking when we were going there, we were just going to get stuff for, rough fix, like cereal or eggs or something simple in the morning. But they were doing a whole thing and they were expecting to like us cook at home and eat at home. And I think that's fun for one night, but not every night. It's like if we're going on vacation, like we want to go out and check out the area. So yeah, I thought it was a little odd. And I don't remember if we agreed to just do everything, like split it. I feeling we probably didn't, because I probably would have been like, absolutely not. Like, if you're getting all this random stuff. Also, we were there for like maybe a little bit less than a week. There's no reason to have like a cart that's overfilling. So when that happened, we didn't really say too much. We just kind of thought to ourselves, like, okay. So that was that. And then we come back. And then I think we went out that night. We went out that night to dinner. And I think there was some weird vibe. Yeah, there was a weird vibe on the first night. And it was definitely because of, 1, the car situation, 2, the bed situation, and 3, it wasn't really an argument, but was definitely the vibes were already weird. So I'm like, oh, great. This is like the first night and we're just like not really getting along that well. So yes, that was the first night. Second day, I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, the second day, this is what it was. The second day, in the morning, they said, we're going to take the car and do our own thing. That pissed me off because I'm like, hold up. We all paid for this rental car, and why do you think that you can just take the car for the whole day and now we have to Uber everywhere? So that rubbed me the wrong way, and I'm like, okay. In my head, it pissed me off, but I'm just choosing my battles because, to be honest, I didn't want to like be with them, but yeah. So that rubbed me the wrong way. So what we did that day, I believe we went to South Beach, had a great time, and then I don't remember if it was that day or the day after. We went out clubbing. We went out till maybe like 1 or 2 in the morning, just having the Miami experience. We were drinking, having clubbing. It was a great time for us. Me, my ex, and my friend. Came back, made some mac and cheese because, that's what happens when you're out drinking and you come back and you have the munchies, right? The couple was sleeping. And whatever, it was 1 or 2 in the morning, or eating our mac and cheese. And then, that was it. Like, the next morning, the couple in the morning wakes up mad early, maybe 7 a.m., starts banging pots and pans. Yes, banging pots and pans. And I was very lucky to not hear it because I was in the room with the door closed. But my friend was in the living room and was woken up at a very early time, probably super hungover. And when you're hungover, you don't want to be hearing pots and pans at 7 in the morning. And so I feel bad for him. That was, he did not deserve that. So yeah, and then we had a little bit of an argument in the morning. They basically said to us, they were pissed off at us because we didn't clean our dishes. We had pans in the sink from the night before at 2 a.m. because we made mac and cheese. Of course, we're gonna clean it like when we wake up the next day. Who cleans their dishes when they're super drunk? Like, what? So they were just trying to basically pick an argument, making us look bad. So they were like, you should have cleaned your dishes. Like, that's so disrespectful. And I'm like, what? Okay, fine. I don't think I argued back. I think I was just like, okay, fine, we'll clean the dishes. But in my head, I'm like, what the fuck? So that was that. And then we went out. I think, yes, and it was the other day. It was me, my ex. Oh yeah, actually, it was just me and my ex, and then my friend did his own thing, right? Oh yeah, we went to see my family that I had in Miami for dinner. So we went there, drove there, had the car, and then all of a sudden we get a text message from my friend saying he's in the hospital. Yes, he was in the hospital, and he was in the hospital. First we didn't know why, so we went to see he's in the hospital, and I think he was in the hospital for like a flu or dehydration. And I was like, oh, this is great. So first we have the bad vibes with that couple, and now my friend's in the hospital. So of course we left dinner early to be there for him, obviously. And he said to me, he was like, in the living room, it's super, super cold, that he needs a little bit more heat. So basically this couple, they get very hot very easily. So I think they had at like 65 and he was freezing. So we basically text the group chat that we had and we said, hey, so we said, our friend's in the hospital. Can you please turn up the heat a little bit? We believe that he got sick from that. And then they had the nerve to bitch at us and being like, how dare you think that we were the reason for this? Like, why do you guys only care about yourselves? Like we were super hot. We need the air up, blah, blah, blah. And we're thinking, like, our friend's literally in the ER right now. And you have the nerve to bitch at us and make us like the evil people. Oh, so sorry that it's a little hot for you guys, that we can't keep it at 65. So that rubbed us the wrong way. And then I think in the text message when we were kind of arguing with them, actually, no, I don't think I saw these messages. No, I did see them, but they were texting my ex and saying, like, basically calling me a prissy, like, oh, tell your prissy girlfriend to back off or something like that. Yeah, I would never forget the names that they called us were just freaking hilarious. Like, I was a prissy bitch. My ex was a low time loser or something like that. And then my friend was a ghetto faggot. So we literally had these labels to us that this couple were calling us. Like, imagine being so miserable that you had to think of some like funny name for us. So that was funny. So yeah, they called me a prissy bitch, and I think they called him like a low time loser or something like that. Or failure loser. I don't know. It was something in that way. But yeah, imagine that. So so then he eventually went to the hospital. We went home. I think they were still sleeping. And then the next day, gosh, this was so long ago. I'm trying to remember like details and such. So oh my goodness, I'm trying to like remember. It was so long ago. It was like 10 years ago. Okay, so from there, I remember. So that night, actually, I don't remember if it was. I trying to remember. There was one night that we were texting, and I was completely like pissed off at them, where I wanted them just to get out of the apartment because they were being extremely disrespectful, calling us all this crap. And at this point, I'm like, I don't even want to go home to them. Like, this is crazy. So part of me wanted to be like, can we kick them out of the apartment? And I think we asked like the landlord, and they were like, oh, I said, well, my ex-boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend is on the name of the reservation. Do we have like legal rights so we can kick out this crazy people? And they said like, no, you can't do that. And then I think when we went there, I think they were trying to kick us out. I think that's how it started. I think they were like trying to kick us out as well. And I'm like, are you ridiculous? Like, your name's not even on the reservation. We literally did everything. And you think that you can be like, taking the car, then taking the apartment. It's like, what? So it started getting really insane that night. Yes. I remember this now. We got home from the hospital. And then like that's what the fight started. Is that because we were pissed off that they were calling us all these crazy names like prissy bitch, ghetto faggot, and we came back at like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then a whole freaking. This is when the shit hit the fan. Yeah, this is when shit hit the fan. So pretty much we were at first trying to kick them out, then they were trying to kick us out, and then we had to call the landlord, and then they had to come to kind of like mediate the conversation. It was fucking insane. And then so at this point we're just like, you know what, we're taking the car. Thankfully I have family here that we'll just stay with them for the rest of the trip and call it a day. So but then there was a bunch of fighting. They were attacking us at one point when I was like, it was so traumatic, all the yelling and screaming, and we were like all throwing freaking knives at not literally knives at each other, but it was just getting fucking ratchet and insane. And these people were just so trashy. And at the time when we were like literally screaming at each other, my friend's just trying to get the mac and cheese and like just getting all the food before we leave. It was like the craziest thing. So when this was happening, I was like trying to pack up my stuff really quick, and all of a sudden I hear like someone spit on somebody. I go out there, someone's like, I don't know who spit on who, but I see my ex and whatever, Jimmy, I think I put his name here, and they're like literally like face to face. And I was like, are they about to fucking hit each other? So you know me, I go in the middle of them, I'm like, don't you dare start freaking hitting each other and shit. So Jimmy comes up to my face. Jimmy comes up to my face and says to my ex, get your prissy girlfriend out of my face. Part of me wanted to deck him in the face so bad. So fucking bad. I was like, my rage was about to come out. And on my head, I was like, Justine, no, you don't want to go to jail today. You don't want to go to jail in Miami. But I wanted to freaking sucker punch him. So, but I was not scared of him. I was like, fucking hit me. Fucking hit me. And I think I said to him, I was like, yes, want to hit me, Jimmy? Fucking go. I'm ready. Right here. Let's go. He didn't do it. He was all talk. And I think he blew his mind that little me, 5'1", was basically inviting him to deck me in the face, and he would not do it. And then so that didn't work. So you know what they did next? They go to the landlord and they're like, oh, they've been smoking weed. They were trying to like get us arrested. And at that time, weed is still technically legal in Florida. I mean, you could do it recreationally, but at the time it was way different. So they were trying to get us arrested. Like that was their next step, was like, oh, I don't have the kind of guts to, beat the shit out of Justine. Let's go ahead and try to get her arrested. What? Yeah, that was literally a thing. So once that didn't work, then I think I gave her the name as Mary. Then she looks at me. She was like, Justine, we're friends. We're friends. We're just messing around with you. I looked at her. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Really? You think you're gonna try to manipulate me and be, oh yeah, we're all good, girl. We're all good, girl. Yeah. Like, fuck you. What? You can definitely tell some like anger is coming out right now, but what the fuck? Like, so that was traumatizing. I went from crying to just like wanting to just sucker punch somebody in the face. So that was like the big thing of it. And thankfully my family at the time was awake and took us in at like 2-3 in the morning. And then we had the car, thankfully, and then we just like did the rest of our vacation. We were like halfway through, so we did the rest of our vacation from there. And then my friend literally went to the club with his hospital bracelet still on. I will never forget that. Yes. And then once we, had to go back to the airport to actually go back to New Jersey, they literally switched their seats. That was so funny. I was like, they literally switched their seats. I'm like, joke's on you. You had to pay a shit ton of money for that. Good for you. So that was that. Clearly, we never spoken to them since. But I will never forget that vacation when I literally vacationed with a bunch of freaking psychopaths. Yeah. So, yeah, I would consider that as a trauma story because I literally thought I was about to get shot. Like, I was just waiting for this guy to, like, take out his fucking gun and being like, let's fucking go. Like, he literally, if you look at him, you can see, like, he'd probably be one of those people who be carrying fucking guns. Yeah. But also another thing too is that people were saying to me that I shouldn't have gotten a little feisty because I didn't know what he was capable of, which is true. You're right. I could have probably died that night, but whatever. I didn't die that night, so that's what matters. But yeah, so that's a fun trauma story. I will have a lot more. I just think I was wanted to start with that one. Hope you enjoyed this interesting conversation. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Mentally a Badass, and join our close friends. Just all you gotta do is just send us a purple heart. We'll add you to the close friends, which is a little behind the scenes. So my close friends saw this before anyone else. Yes, any more announcements? By the time I have this episode up, I'm hoping that we may have, actually no, I gotta say that up. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed and stay tuned. Make sure to follow, like I said, make sure to follow us on Mentally a Badass so you can know when the next trauma story will be up. And if you guys can rate us on Apple Podcasts, that would be fantastic. And Spotify, it helps this podcast get to more people. But if you are new, I just want to mention that Mentally a Badass is not all trauma stories. We are going to start a series here, but the majority of this podcast talks about, of course, mental health. I interview notable guests from around the world, and we learn a lot on here as well. So make sure to follow. And yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you guys have a wonderful day.